whoa, 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 whoa. What is up, my people? Yo, what's good, everybody? I hope you all having an amazing day as always. I am your host, Honorable OCT Octavius Haye, and this is the WACCast podcast. If you don't know now, you know. So before we get into the videos today, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're listening on YouTube, and follow the podcast if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. That being said, let's talk whack to 'em. So DJ Akademiks has been taking a beat this past week. It all started when he was on Twitch with the Henny, and he kind of went in on the founders of hip-hop, called them dusty, when it said that a lot of them don't be looking like they got no money, but they always got stuff to talk about the young heads, the young up-and-coming rappers in the game. And he said they look like they dusty. You sure that you created hip-hop? So, of course, everybody who hated Akademiks, this was like the green light go for them to all clown him. So a lot of people went in on that, saying he disrespectful. What does he do for the culture? He's a cancer. And some of the OGs like LL Cool J came out, and LL Cool J was just pretty much saying don't equate money with success or being beneficial to a culture. And a lot of time, and back then, you know, it wasn't as easy to make money off of it, especially when you go to the founders. There was no money to be made off it. It wasn't a product being sold at the time. It was just an art form, fun. And I think Fat Joe made kind of similar comments. You know, people who hate him, like Ebro and them, Rosenberg, My Son, his enemies ran out to attack him. So I didn't watch the initial video. I watched a clip of it, but I didn't watch the initial video. But I did watch his response, Act's response after everybody was clowning that Act. And I said, well, if there's some context that was missing out of it, Act will give it to us in the response. So I'll just watch that. So I watched the video, and Akademiks' whole point was saying that he's tired of hearing, like, from the old head rappers, from the OG rappers, all they do is complain about the new rappers. And he said that the old heads, they got screwed out of their deal. Not just the founders, but like every generation after, or every next up-and-coming rapper after them. You know, they all talk about how they got crappy deals, but they don't put the new people on. It's like they kind of let them get the same bad deals without, giving them game. And all they seem to do is complain about them. And I will say this. After hearing Act's response of where that whole dusty rapper thing came from, I do think he misspoke. I do think he shouldn't have said like the founders in general were dusty. But I do think he had brought up two great topics. One, and Charlemagne brought this up too, because Act ended up going on the Breakfast Club and kind of explaining himself a little bit more. But I think what Akademiks was saying is true. One of the points that he probably unintentionally brought up was, how do we make things right for the OGs who pioneered, the rap game and paved so many roads for all of us to enjoy this music or make money off this music or whatever. And he's like, there should be some type of a pension thing sent out for them, something to help them, reap the benefits of this culture, which is a good idea, and it's probably never going to happen. Everybody talks a good game when it's a hot topic, but they're just waiting for it to die out, and probably not going to be anything like that for the hip-hop people. But the second point that Act brought up is true. It's like, how come so many of these old head rappers, they come out and they complain about how record labels screwed them over when they first got signed, but they don't have no type of game for the new people and to put them on the business side of things, letting them know like what not to do, what you got to think about, where about your publishing, where about whatever. And Act was saying like he does that. He goes and he explains contracts and how they work and how labels think and what they do, and tries to really break that down. And Akademiks does do that. So I completely understood his point from there. Is like, if all you guys want to do is criticize, and we're going to start criticizing you, and you haven't done anything as far you're not making the money that you're supposed to be making from being the founder of this, and you're not teaching us from your past mistakes. All you got is negativity about the quality of the music, the sound, how it's not how it's not what you guys made, or it's a lower quality than what was made before. And I can see that point of view from Act, because once you know, if you are OG, you got all this knowledge and game, and it seems like most of the time you just want to put down my art form, which is something that people did to you when you were younger. You know, instead of taking that time to, you know, grab these young men by the, you know, and pull them over to you to the side and have a real conversation about the music industry, about record labels, about how they'll try to set you up, about all that stuff. So you got to you have to understand and respect that side too. But I think that once Axe said the Dusty thing, any type of meaningful conversation he tried to bring to it, that was not going to happen because people don't like Akademiks. So instead of actually dissecting that and breaking it down and having a really good conversation about, yeah, you know, maybe we do need to start trying to educate the youngsters and also help get a picture for the OGs, some type of a hip-hop union type thing. Instead of that, it was all just dogpiling on Akademiks, and it just seemed them kept coming. People really didn't like what Axe said, and I'm not defending what Axe said. He was wrong. That sort of generalization of it. And I think Axe even said on the Breakfast Club that he was only really talking about one person, maybe two people, one person for sure, that I guess had been saying some negative things about current day hip hop. But he did kind of, you know, once again, he brought up everybody when he was talking about, once he went into greater detail and started really breaking down like how messed up he felt things were, he kind of talked about everybody, because every rapper has complained about their record deal and their publishing, or almost every rapper, a lot of them have. Yet they don't school the next generation, and they let them suffer too. And he was like, how come you had a crappy deal, and then 15 years later, just talking general, another person has a crappy deal, 20 years later another person has a crappy deal. So yeah, I think that some of the people thought he was going in on LL Cool J when he did his little response, and he was like, nah, you just talking about LL, it's about everybody. It's not LL in particular. He don't know, you know, LL's situation, but he just saying, like, you know, the past generation never really tries to put the next generation on as far as how not to get screwed over with signing to a label. I think there's valid points in that. I know a lot of people may not want to hear that, especially from Akademiks, but I do believe that Akademiks has some valid points with that statement. Just again, maybe not say that a blanket, you know, generalization of all the founders of hip hop, call them dusty. I get that too. So from that issue to the next with so Akademiks got under some fire, and I've seen this Twitch when he talked about it. I didn't think nothing crazy. I didn't think there was anything crazy about it. I really didn't think much of it, but it blew up. So he talked about Lil Wayne's daughter, Reginae Carter, and her new boyfriend, and pretty much used her as an example of how women like her or Chloe Bailey, they like the thug dudes until the thug can get real, and the dudes gotta do some time in prison. And then they'll just leave them. They're not waiting for him. These girls are leaving him. He was talking about Reginae Carter's relationship with YFN Lucci and how she was so in love with him. And, you know, they just had a whole relationship, and now she's done with him. She's got a new dude, seemingly not a street guy, and they make YouTube videos. And then he was also talking about how, you know, Chloe Bailey was with Gunna, and it kind of seems like that's a wrap. She's just living her life, which is, you know, that's their right to do. And I don't think, and Akademiks wasn't saying anything was wrong with it. He was just make a light of the situation and bring it up. It's like, yeah, you see how that happens. Women should let you know that, hey, if you go to jail, you can do all this thug stuff, it's cool. If you go to jail, I'm leave you. But at one point, he was just making like a blanket statement again. So he said, you know, it's funny how bitches, but he caught himself real fast, and he said, oh, no, I don't mean that. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Caught himself right away and continued talking. Again, nothing really crazy was being said. It was that all factual. She did. Hey, man, she got a new dude who don't seem to be that tough. Now, he was kind of saying that the guy that Reginae is dating looks a little bit more feminine than her. Looks more feminine than her. It kind of a little jab, and he did say that she downgraded. So I can kind of understand her being upset about that. But I just think the level that this whole thing went to where her mom, Reginae Carter's mom, is coming out, Toya, and don't talk about my 23-year-old child, and T.I. was like, I gotta have a conversation with Akademiks. You know, Reginae is like my niece, she protected, she under the umbrella. I'm just like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I understand you want to talk about it, or you didn't like what he had little snide comments to say, but really wasn't that crazy what he said. And I have to agree with Ak on this. She's a public figure with a public relationship. She's monetizing of her life. I can talk about it. Should he have used the B word? No, but he corrected himself. And he corrected himself right away. It was just, you know how we are. People talk that the N word, the B word, they just come out sometimes. Like, it happens with me all the time. You gotta be, oh yeah, I don't mean this, and just keep going. I don't think there was any malice in his heart. I just think, again, this was the week to dump on Ak. They had him with the dusty comments about the pioneers of hip hop, and then his enemies had something else. Oh hell, now you talking about this poor girl. It's like all these same people have made comments about people's relationships at one point or another because they all media heads. But again, it's just attack Ak this week, which, hey, it happens. People get their backlash. They ask it again. It's just my week, and that's fine. That's cool. But I don't know. I just think that, like, really, if you're gonna be in a public relationship and you're a grown person, and cracking a couple little soft, lighthearted jokes, like, what are y'all really mad about? And I would really be curious about what him and T.I. had to talk about, because Akademiks said he loved T.I., he'll talk to him, he has no problem talking to him. And Akademiks has been very respectful throughout this whole situation. Like, he was very respectful in his response to Toya. He's very respectful on the Breakfast Club when he broke it down on not just the Reginae Carter thing, but the hip-hop thing. But I'd be really curious to hear about what him and T.I. had to say, because I really want to know, well, what are you upset about, T.I.? Did you actually watch it? I know Toya was like, she didn't like him calling her the B word, and I was like, you're right. And he knows that was wrong. That's why he corrected it. Like, you really hold on to that. And if you watched it, you see the man stopped himself right away. Unless you watched a clip that didn't show that, but he did it so fast that you would know something was missing if you only heard him call her that and it stopped, because he corrected himself so fast. But look, your daughter's public. She's a public grown woman with a public relationship. She's on YouTube making YouTube videos with her guy. If you want to say I didn't like some of those comments, that's fine, but I just think the level that this whole thing blew up to was really ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Akademiks didn't say nothing that was that crazy. He has said way worse things about women. When he went in on Chrissy Teigen, that was understandable. But this was just so mild, and he corrected himself with the B word, and everything else was just stupid, harmless jokes that you can be a little irritated with. But man, it's like a campaign. Come on, if this hadn't already been a busy Ak week, nobody would be caring about this. So I'm happy that I decided to wait an extra day to put this out, because I got a little bit more about this topic. So Ak actually went ahead on stream and talked about the conversation between himself and T.I. Pretty much what I took from it is Reginae and her mama Toya, they were more upset about, it looked like Ak was trying to push a narrative that she was like a hoe or something, or one of them girls, and T.I. was saying she's not that type of girl. Reginae, Reginae's father's Lil Wayne. She come for money. She don't need no man. She's just young, living her life. So I was happy to get that. And of course, they were upset about him calling her the B word. They had a conversation about who's a B and who's not a B, and that there are Bs. I was saying, and Ak was listening to it, I would have had more pushback on that with T.I. if I was Akademiks. Just saying, yes, I know she's not a B. That's why I corrected it right away. I was just talking and just rambling on, and the words slipped out, and I caught myself. I would have just kept, every time he had something to say, I would have just kept repeating it. I get you, T.I., but do you not understand that I corrected myself? I already understand that. That's why I corrected myself. But as far as the bit about them not wanting to look like they was hoes or nothing, I can understand that. I felt like Ak actually did comment on that in the original video when he said, Reginae is Lil Wayne's daughter. She can mess with whatever she want. She whatever. He was just saying it's funny how a lot of these celebrities, they do mess with, dudes who give out the presentation of a more street life. But then when it get real street, they back up. It was just a funny thing to look at, because Reginae, and then he was talking about Chloe Bailey messing with Gunna. It was understandable. So I get it was just jokes, but ultimately it looks like they came from it with a better understanding. Hopefully Reginae and Toya, they get cool with it, realize they just goofing around. It wasn't really nothing serious, and it don't seem like no beef with this. So hopefully it's all done. Well, DaBaby made some headlines because he pretty much outed, made accusations that he had slept with Meg Thee Stallion. Not only was he sleep with Meg Thee Stallion, but he's saying he actually slept with her the night before Tory allegedly shot her. So that crazy. He came out with a song with that. Him and Meg used to be real cool. I had already been kind of suspecting they was messing with each other. They was very flirty. And even though Meg said she don't like short dudes, I mean, a lot of girls say stuff like that. And then they'll be around you and everything, and they start liking you. So they already had kind of like a flirtatious relationship that I could have took it the way that they just act like that for the cameras, or they really doing something. So let's just go off of what DaBaby saying. DaBaby saying that they mess with each other. He came out with this. He said he wanted to wait for his album to come out before he made a response. Their friendship kind of went sour after DaBaby brought Tory Lanez out with him to perform, and it was also an old song that they had did together that Tory Lanez ended up putting out. And I think Meg was just really upset about both of those things, because she thought that they were friends, that he should be loyal. DaBaby should be loyal to Megan, since Megan's got the issue with Tory, and saying that Tory shot her. And they kind of had like Meg Thee Stallion and DaBaby had a little back and forth. Meg Thee Stallion's boyfriend, what you think? I can't think of dude's name right now, but Party came out and was making threats to DaBaby. DaBaby kind of like, all right, don't get hurt over here. So in the song that DaBaby made, he's pretty much talking about that some more. He's talking about how her boyfriend almost got hurt trying to come to her defense, and again, just he wanted to put this out for promotion he wanted to put this out for promotion for his project, for song, for his album. And I gotta say, I know that there was those reports that DaBaby canceled the show because he only sold like 500 tickets. I don't know if DaBaby's cold out here, but clearly he feels like he has to do something or say some things, reveal some information, or at least make allegations to drum up some interest in what he's doing. And I don't know. I like DaBaby. I think that he's dope. I thought DaBaby was one of those kind of talents that could go have a long career. I thought he has a sound that sounds good. It may sound the same all the time, but it's a good sound. But I don't know. Apparently, at least it's looking like he's getting cold out here, starting to, and has to resort to these other tactics to stay relevant. I don't know. All right, DaBaby's still relevant now, but maybe he's thinking in the long term. But for whatever made him do it, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with, you don't got to call nobody out. Yeah, it's your story, but it's their story too. And if you're just trying to, like, what was he hoping to gain from that? Was he trying to embarrass her? Is he trying to make her look like a hoe? I don't know. But it just seems messy and unnecessary. DaBaby, you talented. You just focus on the music. And you ain't got to get into the gossipy stuff. And you ain't got to get into it with Meg, because it's like, since that moment happened, she hasn't really said nothing about you. If y'all friendship is over, y'all friendship is over. But I would just let that go. It's not a good look for you, buddy. And I rock with DaBaby, but it's not a good look for him to be over here, telling on Meg, telling on himself, let people know the body count, or let people know that he hit. I don't know. I don't think that DaBaby, I think he's a way better artist than that. I don't think that DaBaby needs that. I think DaBaby just needs to focus on making some good music, getting there with some good producers, get some good beats, try to get some good features, come up with some interesting concepts, and there you go, man. Leave all that extra stuff out of there. So update on DaBaby. I guess we see why he was putting Meg Thee Stallion in his raps, trying to get some buzz. So he, I guess, sold was 16K, and everybody's saying that's crazy. How could he sell such little? His last album did like what, 120 something, 50 something in that range, and now he's selling this little. So it's begun a conversation about being blackballed, and is DaBaby blackballed? Baby says he feels like he is. Other people like DJ Akademiks say they feel like he is. Meek Mill said it. Boosie said it, and it's kind of sparked a debate. And also, a lot of people blaming Ebro because he's the creative head of hip hop and R&B at Apple, and he's not been put in any of the playlists, which really does help with sales and getting people to listen. A lot of people like to listen to playlists, and a lot of prominent artists are put in playlists, and that helps them, get listens, get streams. Baby has been putting in as many. So a lot of people looking at Ebro and like, why are you picking favorites? You taking personal decisions away from. Ebro's side of things is, artist doesn't get high from the playlist. He believes that it's up to the consumer, and if you really like DaBaby, you will go listen. While there is something true to that, I think Ebro's aware of how it works. And while you can say technically, yes, you still should go check for DaBaby, I think Ebro's well aware of the power he holds and how things work in the real world, as I say. And people a lot of times will not go look at a playlist. And so he's been called out. He's been called out by Akademiks because Ebro's trying to act like, he don't know why everybody talking about him. He's supposed to be irrelevant. And Akademiks says, well, it's because you're the head of creative for, hip hop and R&B at Apple. It's not, nobody cares about your opinion on anything. Nobody cares about you on your show. But what they care about is when you have your other job, your corporate job at Apple, how you're affecting people's streams and money and relevancy in that way, not based off of your radio show. So I think that it was very disingenuous for Ebro to put those two together, because really nobody really does care about his opinion on music when it comes to him just talking about it. But when he's in a position of power to actually influence it, I think that's more so where people are looking at. And I think he's aware that he's trying to play this off because, he doesn't want to look like the bad guy. But it's funny because this isn't the first time he's been called out for holding artists back by not, featuring them. I remember when he tried to accuse 50 Cent of killing New York hip hop, and 50 Cent said, "How I killed New York hip hop? Once you hear the radio station, why weren't you playing the New York rappers?" And that's a good point for 50. And I think this is kind of the same situation where, Ebro's trying not to get called out for the sneaky stuff he's doing and playing these games with artists because you personally don't like them. You may not be the person for that position. And maybe he doesn't want Apple to think like that, which I don't know if he will, or if they will think like that or even care too much. But you never know. So yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy to think about DaBaby selling, about 16K. He's one of the hottest artists, and he's selling such a small amount. It makes you understand a little bit more why he went that Meg Thee Stallion route of using their past experience. But I still disagree with that. And geez, I don't know. I'm looking at Ebro. He tried to play off like he's a good guy. I don't know if I was in his position, if I didn't like an artist, if I would do the same thing. I don't know. But, maybe we got to get some people in there who's a little bit less biased. Another reason I'm happy I waited an extra day to put this out is we had some good news. It's a little bittersweet. We have the people that the police believe are behind the murder of PNB Rocks, the murder and robbery, and that's good that we found them, or that we found two of the people. One of them is actually on the run, but it's sad. It's sad when you find out exactly who it was or who that allegedly it is. So based off of whatever information the police have found out, they were at least sure enough to arrest two of the culprits. Again, like I said, it turns out they're believing it was a father, a son, and the father's, I don't know if that's his wife, his girlfriend, it's the stepmother of the son or whatever. But yeah, it turns out that they were in cahoots together, and the father was the getaway driver. The son is the one who actually shot PNB Rock and took the jewelry. And the woman, that's also been arrested, she is saying to have been an accomplice to it. So I don't know if she was a lookout or whatever, but or her just aided them afterwards, maybe hiding evidence or something. I don't know. We don't know nothing yet. Just that they found some stuff. They got suspects that it looks like were the ones who did it. So yeah, like I said, very good that happened. That we at least got the people who did that, or there's an arrest and allegedly they did it, and we're gonna see. Very sad that it was a father, a son, and possibly a mother or stepmother, but a woman that was helping them. How crazy is that? Now, the two people that were arrested, the son and the woman, the dad he's now on the run. He's on the run, so they're trying to find him. Pretty sure it's only a matter of time. I mean, he was over here robbing people. Probably don't got that much money to hide out anyway, so most likely gonna get caught. But that is just crazy. Like, this is what you want your son to be doing? Like, you committing crimes with your son, got your son stepping in and committing murder? Like, you are a failure as a parent. I understand sometimes kids go in a direction you don't want them to go, and maybe you used to live a life, but you never wanted that for your son, and this could have happened, but it's like you actively engaging in these criminal activities with him to the point where you got him going in and doing the stuff, committing the murder, and you didn't duck that on your son. And that's crazy. It's like a lot of times people ain't meant to be parents, and they become more like a friend with their kid. They be beefing and arguing and fighting like they not a child and a parent, like they just two homies or something. And it looks like that might be the situation. I don't know nothing about these people, but dang, when you look at it, like, you got your son into this mess. You got your 17, I think they say the boy is 17, so you already got him ready to do all this. Instead of trying to be a father and get him to live a life where he don't got to struggle, now this boy's going to be in prison. Maybe not for the rest of his life, but for a while. Like, you've already got his head warped to where he felt like that was a good idea to go in there. Or even if he didn't feel like it was a good idea, he did it. And you was right there with him, the getaway driver. You couldn't even go in and take the man's life yourself, or go in there and try to rob him yourself. You had to do all that. That's crazy. The cops also said that the family was already at the restaurant, so it wouldn't have been PNB Rock or PNB Rock's girlfriend sharing their location that got them in trouble. It looks like they were already there, most likely scouting out to see if they can find anybody to rob. Or maybe they just happened to see him and, oh, it's PNB Rock. Since they see his jewelry and they like, well, let's, we got the stuff ready. I don't know if it was a coincidence that they were there, or they were there for the specific reason to rob somebody, but whatever it was, they were already in that location. PNB Rock, his girlfriend, saying something had nothing to do with it. They already knew. So all y'all people that was so sure that she got him killed and wished damn and hell on her, all I was saying was let's wait and see. I wasn't saying she did, that it was from her posting the location. I wasn't saying that it wasn't. And again, the way we found out that PNB Rock also posted the location. Again, I would say I don't know whether that was from that or not. Let's figure it out. Let's wait and see. Let's find out. We don't know nothing from our phones and our laptop, keyboards, whatever. We don't know nothing from that. We're not privy to any information. Let's just wait and see. So we see now, the cops are saying now they don't believe it was from that at all because people were already there. And see how you gotta watch what you say about people? And again, even if it was from the girl posting their location, she wasn't plotting to kill that man. That was her dude. Come on. So I'm happy we know what it was about. Hopefully anybody who has some negative things to say can say a positive, nice, sweet things about the girl now. Probably not, but hopefully. And, we'll see what happens if they catch the father, when they catch the father. And they got the evidence to prove it. Hopefully these guys are locked up and pay for their crimes. Well, that's the show for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, getting in this whack wisdom. I hope that you return next week to get some more from me. Of course, again, please, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. That being said, this is the WACCast podcast, and I am whacking off.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack
it's
to me.
It's the WACCast podcast, yeah. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.